Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Round 2 Back 9 coverage of the 2020 Green Mountain Championship presented by Discraft. We've got Big Berry commentary, Jerm and Koling, joined in the booth by Paul Ulibarri.
Yeah, we have a good back nine for you guys. It's going to get a little easier than that front nine. That front nine gets pretty brutal, but...
Yeah, we've made it past the gauntlet. That 5 through 9 stretch is just one of the most difficult stretches you're going to see on tour. A lot of birdies to be picked up on the back nine, but still some difficult shots for sure. You still have 16 and 18 resting there in the back of your mind. Those are always coming up, and they spell disaster if you're a little bit off. Got good scores across the board on the front nine, and here we are moving on to hole 10. Par 3, 315 feet. This is a great hole for an ace run. It's not going to be too much longer before someone picks one off. It could be today, but it's a big forehand off the tee that can spike into that. You have like the backstop there with the way that green is set up. It really is begging for someone to get one. James Conrad's going to throw it back in. Everyone else is going to throw a sidearm.
Chris Dickerson having the better of the front nines, but Dan's playing really well and consistent. Only a couple strokes off of that. Rest of the card has a little red on there.
Yeah, and Chris throwing a nice low drive, and any wind that might have been swirling around that area was mitigated by that low driving tee shot. I don't know about you, but the wind was not blowing like this when we came to this hole. It was swirling. It seems pretty calm right now, which these players are taking advantage of by throwing some lawn darts next to the pin.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I feel like this hole would play a little bit easier than hole 6, right?
You thought it would be easier than 6.
I did, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, this one has traditionally always been the second easiest, and 6 has always been one of the easiest holes on tour. One time I believe it averaged 2.3, which is the lowest I've recalled.
When I played it, it was just very windy, and I felt like it was like just playing pretty tough.
Yeah, this one's a little bit more in the woods. You have a little bit more protection with that big dam next to the lake.
This needs to get down.
This does need to get down. James has pushed this one back edge, and that's gone out of bounds. The spotter there told me that a couple people have actually crested that hill, and he had to go all the way to the bottom of the hill. And if you want to experience some vertigo, stand on the top of that ridge and look down. It pretty much goes straight down about 150 feet.
Oh, that one almost got that curl roll.
A little squirrely action for Dan's shot. Would like to make this putt for the birdie. Oh, and he knew immediately. He was already looking away.
That was our first really glimpse of a mistake from Dan. He's been really in control the whole round with his putts. And
yeah, on the putting green at least. And you saw a couple of early trees hit in the first couple holes, but nothing too bad.
James. A long ways down.
You hear Paul? Exactly. It is a... oh, James might have just one slip and he's gone.
Yeah, it's nice that it stopped there, but I was like, dang, that's a long ways to the bottom of that hill.
I love that they're talking about this.
Really? Is it really?
I feel like if they move this pin up the hill,
I was going to say it's a big hill.
10 feet. If they brought just 10 feet farther up the hill, I feel like this hole would just be so much scarier. And the 2.58 average that it has now would be 2.75, maybe 2.9. I feel like you get a lot more bogeys and a lot more people really frustrated by having to go down that hill.
Let's just put it at the bottom of the hill.
No. Hole 11, par 4, 600 feet. Just that one tree that you have to beat off the tee box. There's OB on the left side all the way, and that's really the biggest danger off the tee. The OB on the right side really doesn't come into play unless it's a really errant tee shot. From there, you just have the squirreliest poke and hope approach. I mean, there is a fairway there, but it is so difficult getting that accuracy, the speed, and the angle all right coming into this green, especially with the out of bounds just merely 30 feet behind the pin.
I feel like really the only mistake you can do here is put a little too much hyzer and drift it, of course, to the OB left, or throw it too far. I mean, that's something that you see a lot of people actually doing is kind of juicing it. Yeah, that's perfect. But juicing it and then kind of getting cut off to that right side.
Yep. Your angle is immediately eliminated if you finish too far, like you said, or off to the right side. And you do both those, you have nothing. But I do like this being a little bit farther right than where Chris is because it's more of a full shape for an approach for the zone sidearm from there. And I know that Paul really likes leaning on that forehand with his zone. And even this backhand JK AVR that James will most likely throw from there, just the shape is a lot more natural than from that speed that you'll have from that range. If you're looking at it straight on, it's so tough to throw a putter dead straight at that going down the hill and still putting the brakes on before it goes out of bounds.
And that's a tough mistake, but at least he's in bounds. That's the only good thing you really came out of that. Playing a really great shot from there, though.
Yep. The other good thing is you don't have to worry about the stress of getting a birdie anymore.
Yeah. So stressful. Like these guys have to deal with.
Oh, gosh.
So glad I'm not Paul McBeth.
He's actually going with the backhand, which opens up the fairway even more. Throwing a good approach, getting a decent kick.
But I think it's impossible not to.
It is quite the feat to get an approach through this gap down to the green without hitting something along the way.
I bet James does it.
I bet he doesn't.
He just right away clunk. And that has potential to get a bad kick out of bounds right.
Yeah, that out of bounds does come into play on the approach. Anything that kicks right is certainly going to flirt with that. Oh, Chris connecting on the same tree that McBeth
I think I heard
hit.
something late.
That looked like it could have had a chance to
I don't know how late, but
do something special.
it's a B model US. It's an AVR Continent. Pretty neutral.
There's a chance for a par there.
Yeah. And instead of trying to get cute and try to flip that thing up, he just took the result, hit the gap. If it skips right, but give me the distance. James from outside circle 2. Drifting right.
Impressive,
Close.
yeah, impressive to have the height to make it, but stop before that out of bounds.
Yeah.
That out of bounds comes real quick past that basket.
Yeah, especially just going downhill the whole way. Oh, no.
Thank you.
I don't think Chris really meant thank you when he said that.
Yeah, I don't know what he was talking about.
Another nice par save.
Maybe kill a basket with kindness.
Maybe next time it'll open its doors and give him some soup.
Good putt there from McBeth. Get a birdie. Get in there.
Hole 12, 710 feet, par 4. Blind landing zone off the tee. You want to land right there by those red stakes to give yourself a good look to the pin in 2 shots. Players are going to want to throw about 350 to 370 off the tee, but if you go too far, you're going to go in that out of bounds middle area. So Important things to keep in mind off the tee is you want to get left. Anything that's too straight off the tee is going to have an obstructed approach.
I feel like this hole is as hard as you make it. If you throw it straight and it drops to the left of the, or pardon me, to the right of the fairway, then you have a really difficult shot into the green. But if you put it to about where McBeth is or anything left of that, then it makes it into actually a very manageable shot.
The thing that McBeth's going to have to worry about on this approach is his disc is actually on the side of a hill there. And so his approach is going to be very strange the way that he attacks that run-up. James also going pretty far left. This could be in dangers of being in the bush line. That's going to be a very crouchy approach shot. Don't know if he'll be able to do the patented James Conrad run-up, that's for sure.
No. He might be a little bit, never mind, grouchy with the
No,
pretty bad.
no,
Yeah, I shouldn't have said it.
You got a lot of good ones in there, Paul. That was
I
one.
ruined everything. Hopefully he'll have a run-up, though. I was in a similar spot.
And a good shot there from Dan. And a good thing to remember for you is that your reputation isn't on the line every time you speak. You can say bad jokes. I do it all the time.
Yeah, no, I have a lot of bad ones. I just choose not to say them.
Well, you're more disciplined than I, as Dan has gone forehand approach. Again, that might not be his comfortable range to throw the backhand flex shot, and deciding instead of trying to push the issue.
Right, I love that by him, yeah.
That is something I am very envious of, that shot, just being able to recognize strengths and weaknesses. This is inbounds, but Chris not happy. And a grouchy shot from James Conrad. As he
Thank you for saving me. Appreciate that.
I'll back it up, dude.
It was a pretty good shot from him. And like I said, it's as hard as you make it. So Paul was just a bit too far right to where he has to throw the flex shot, and that is a very difficult shot, especially with that crosswind.
And I mean, having to kind of go sideways with his run-up just a bit.
James just planning on laying this one up.
Yeah, right. Oh, wow. Actually giving that a very solid run, and maybe a little bit too healthy of a run. He's got a lot left there for his par. Long floaty run from Chris Dickerson comes up short. That'll be a par for him. And McBeth with the only birdie look of the group here on hole 12.
Go, go, go. Get up with this wind.
And I did not know this happened, but apparently Kyle Klein threw in a 2 on this hole. A young player from Grand Rapids, Michigan. He has got a cannon. That's an incredible eagle.
And an incredible par save there from, well, not incredible, but
you're
much
happy
needed.
with that. Sure.
Yeah, much needed par save.
You never won a 28-foot elevated basket par putt. Hole 13, 375-foot blind par 3. Players are going to want to throw a fairway driver or a really overstable mid-range hard, high at this power pole and let the disc just drift hyzer down the hill to the left in the woods. And there's the basket there, a bit camouflaged in the background, but pretty straightforward hole, especially for one that's blind from the tee. Actually, the third easiest hole of the day, and look at that 5-time roll as Paul McBeth is throwing a nice shot and turned into a fantastic one.
It's a little low.
Still gonna work though.
Low, but look at that late skip ride off the grass.
Yeah, not a lot of danger here. The one thing that everybody's worried about is that telephone pole right in the middle. You're using that as kind of an aiming point that you want to just go right in front. But if you juice it a little bit, you can catch that.
And you can kind of gauge how short you're going to be based on whether you actually push that telephone pole or not. If you came up way short like James did there, you know that you didn't quite get down to the green, and James is going to be 60 feet from the pin and a wall of trees in the way.
We're also to a stretch that you really want to start getting those birdies. This 3-hole stretch right here.
And Dan, a little bit wider, a little bit higher, but that stall at the end was fantastic, and he's going to have a drop-in birdie. Well, actually, the wall was not so bad. James unable to connect on the putt. So I'll leave short birdie putts for Chris, and Paul already in, and Dan's got the short birdie putt as well.
I feel like that's typical. You usually see about 2 birdies, 2 pars, 3 birdies,
yeah,
1 par.
Took the words out of my mouth. It's a very common result. 300 for the lead group is about what you'd expect. Is James almost connecting on the star frame birdie putt from 50 feet. A hole 14, a very similar shot. It's just uphill as opposed to downhill. A lot of players aren't going to throw the same disc actually on this hole as last hole. 345 feet up the hill. Maybe not, I don't know. But the backside gap opens up the best lane to the pin, but the problem so often you see as a disc is hyzering to the pin, connecting on a late tree, oftentimes turns into a roller.
Pads.
The better your round is going, the more likely you're hitting one of those trees, I've learned.
The better your round is, the more likely you're going to hit
Yeah.
it? Oh, interesting.
Yeah, if you're having like a heater,
Science,
you're
folks.
definitely not like Chris is playing really well.
So,
yeah, no chance.
of birdieing a hole?
Yeah, that's like, I feel like you see a lot of like really good shots. Just
Wow. And the same mistake, really. All 3 players, in fact, each one has progressively gotten a bit worse.
You also see a lot of people go in to try to park the hole, and then what happens is you hit those guardian trees, and then it filters to the right down, and a lot of them kind of roll out of bounds.
Conrad going much straighter to the pin. I believe that's his Thunderbird.
That's what we wanted to see right there.
You might be right.
Another.
So you might be right. From down there, it looked like I got really far left.
And this has some danger to it because behind this basket is actually going to be that slope that a lot of people kind of land on. See?
Yeah, and that's okay.
I've never really seen anybody go that far left.
Yeah, it's not pretty over there. As you can see, McBeth is lining up a 49-foot putt.
Go.
Wow, jeez Louise.
You could only see half of the basket.
He does this to me at this course. I swear, every year he's got a putt that is just like, okay, he's not going to make this one. Tough luck. Okay, he made it. Again. There could be a 1 hour compilation of just me, like, my head dropping as I see the putts going into chains, like, oh, he did it again. He does it often.
Yeah, he makes a lot of good putts.
He makes a lot of putts, man. And James with the short birdie putt. He is in the basket for 2. Another good par save. Dan's hanging strong. Moving on to hole 15. Par 3, 325 feet. This hole really belongs on Brewster Ridge. It's just really the only... Like, hole 3 is wooded, and hole 16 is wooded, but this is just so unlike the rest of the course. It's a fantastic hole, though. Backhand turnover line opens up for a really late turn. You're going to see a lot of players go with a forehand. The problem is
come on, hurry.
Early kicks can be devastating, especially anything that goes right. Paul missing his line, it's going to be okay because he's in the middle of the fairway.
Everything is going to be okay.
It's going to be all right, man. And that's the best kick he's going to receive this tournament, most likely.
Yeah, that was nice.
That
you go right, and then without having a sidearm. Mm-hmm. He has a sidearm, but without having a predominant sidearm.
Yeah, one that he really wants to lean on. Yeah, I mean, if you kick right early, it's double bogey town. Yeah, you can go ahead and get the hats because you can wear it proudly. You're going to double bogey the hole more times than you're going to par it.
Chris almost pushing it wide enough, but catches the last guardian tree.
It's the last one you got to beat. And this is
early.
A little early, but got the speed to catch the last one as well. And it just, the way that this hole sets up, it really plays tricks. Like, do I go stand-up hyzer sidearm? Or do I go stable push, a little bit of flex? I don't think there's a clear answer. McBeth almost making the 100-footer. Almost another shrug moment.
Yeah, this, like you said, this definitely calls for a specific line. Whatever you throw the best.
Yeah, it can be executed certainly with a flex or with a stand-up. What suits you best, you just have to pick the right disc and execute. Just like every time you play disc golf. Every throw that you've ever made.
You pick the right one with the right stroke, and maybe it'll be your day.
Maybe. Maybe. Oh, that looked like that was in the basket.
Yeah, I was gonna say I want to be Dickerson.
I know. I was ready for that joke too. But it looks like we're gonna have a whole card of pars here.
Yeah, we're gonna have a party.
Or you could say it's a car of pards if you want to make a bad joke. Mm. See? I'm just proving to you. You can say dumb things. You have that power right now. It's your world.
Take control of it.
To people who don't like my humor, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, we turned into a bad radio station.
Sorry.
Bad radio station.
I just wish I had like one of those like noisemaker. Oh, anyways. Hole 16, par 4, 700 feet. This is really, really tough. This is a hole where you can see your round just melt away. Super tight tunnel, ton of really tough trees on the right side and left side that line the fairway all the way down until you get it to the open.
Yeah, this is no joking matter, this hole. This is all about doing exactly what McBeth just now did.
Oh, that is so perfect. The only issue McBeth might have is that where that disc landed, there's a series of roots there, and his run-up could be a little bit difficult because of that.
Damn, it's crushed.
James doesn't have to worry about those roots. He is in perfect position. A little bit of gravel there on the ground. Should be a nice, easy approach.
Go right. Go right.
This could...
It should roll down a bit.
I think that's good as well.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. The only route he's going to have to worry about is the one to the basket.
Oh, that was a nice one. Good. Right side of this fairway is really no bueno. You have to push left side to middle. Dan is going to be matching these guys with another great shot. If that goes too far right and you're in the trees there, that can be tough.
Yeah, hit the main gap. I mean, if you hit early on this one, that's when you start bringing big numbers into the equation. So the fact that he made his way up the fairway, didn't go left over that wall, he'll be in position to manufacture a par.
Chris having to go standstill just because of where his disc ended up and hit the gap, and really that's the only thing you want to focus on there is getting through, setting himself up for an easy par.
I feel like Dan is just way smarter than me.
Oh, God, way smarter. Gosh. I love this. This is the kind of play that made Nate Sexton famous. That's why we call him Nate Safeton. Because he knows, he makes the decisions that you wish you had made, but he does it the first time.
And scores with it.
And exactly, and still scores. And Paul has just thrown a laser beam to
Thank you.
That's just flexing right there.
I feel like there's a happy medium. I feel like Dan is way smarter than me, but I feel like I'm smarter than McBeth. So I don't understand.
Well, good thing you have to be smart to be a good disc golfer, Paul.
Here's James.
Yeah, those two playing together. That's funny. Oh, dude, he just went putter from there.
Golly, that's so annoyingly good.
That is really good.
James just rips J.K. Aviar straight at the pin, 400 feet about.
Yeah, you're not going to see a lot of people go after after your drive, have a putter into the green.
Wow.
I mean, you can throw putter if you'd like, but it's not going to get to the green.
That was a great approach. Another Paul. Another par coming up for Dan. A great birdie. 4.72 average on this one. You can see that it is birdied by only 7 players on the day. And we're going to have 2 of those on this card. James, you can wait. You have an absolute tap-out birdie. You're never going to see this whole play better. And with 2 to go, we're on the hole 17. 395-foot blind par 3 around these trees down to the elevated basket with out of bounds on the right side, long, picking the right disc and really reading the wind is imperative on this hole. It really is an advantage as the second, third, or fourth person to be teeing off on this hole, just to be able to pick the wind read.
Absolutely. Being the first guy off the tee this is a very difficult hole to do that, and this needs
James
a good kick.
Oh, I think it's safe.
Okay,
Green.
so he's fine. He's
green.
safe, and he's made the mandatory, which has been newly added this year on this hole, making a little bit harder for the lefties that in the past have elected to go the big spike hyzer option around the left side. But James definitely wishes he had that one back. You feel like you're definitely losing one on the course when you don't at least give yourself a look for the birdie on hole 17.
Looks good.
McBeth says it looks good, but that did not have the height that it needed to get down to the green, and Chris is going to have 50 feet left, and that's a very scary putt from there.
I mean, this is coming in as a ninth most, or hardest, or easiest, whatever way you want to look at it, but it has teeth. I mean, you leave it to that 30, you leave it at short at 30 feet or deep at 30 feet.
Yeah, and that's the height that you like to see. That'll get that drift that you're looking for, and a good angle out of the hand to hold hyzer the whole way down there.
But with the wind and it being so high, it's makes it a very difficult putt.
You think James is running this?
I was trying to say it's a tough putt anywhere you are on this hole, and I just kept going in circles. I don't know.
Can we cue in that face that you made in our practice round? Oh, very interesting. McBeth is just an animal to run that putt. Let's see how aggressive Chris gets from this distance. Yep. Wisely deciding to not add any unnecessary stress to this round. He's still bogey free thus far. Just 2 shots back of James Conrad on this card.
Fortunate par for James. That OB definitely comes in.
Yep. Yeah, certainly that approach left a little to be desired. Don't want to have too far of a putt, especially putting into the uphill headwind, but Dan has a tailwind and another very consistent putt. Well done.
Yeah, that flag's just ripping.
And that's the last thing you want to see. Oh, boy.
Yeah, put that on slow, man.
You don't want to see the wind ripping when you're playing 17.
It almost blew Dickerson over.
Because that means it's going to be real windy coming into this one. Hole 18. I believe this was the winner of the best hole 18 on tour. And for good reason. This is an absolutely picturesque hole. Great view of the Green Mountain State. Downhill, OB left, OB right, which has been brought in even farther this year than it has in prior years. That wind is ripping. Getting in bounds is paramount as it sets up a very difficult approach to this elevated basket with a slope right behind the pin.
The one thing you're looking for is this wind is actually going 2 different directions. Kind of a head cross up top, but then it's a direct left to right down there.
Drop for me.
That needs to sit. I think that Paul has thrown an absolute gem, and he
Good job.
has. That is a good sight to see from the tee box, landing safe on this one.
And so the only mistake that you have to stay away from is getting your disc turned over in any way on this hole.
Correct.
As soon as you do that, you're done. If you get it too high and you expose the bottom of the disc to that left to right or right to left crosswind, then you're done. So you want it to be flat and then fade. McBeth showed us exactly what to do. This is going left.
Got to drop,
get down.
and this is going to be out of bounds. The only hope he had there was either hit a stake or hit a bumper hard enough that it kicked back and rolled in bounds. But
seen it happen.
Yeah, I wasn't joking when I said it. It's just so important to know your mistake on this one. And Chris, this
Needs
don't
to
know.
lift.
It has to move. Oh, and the tree, that's immediately out of bounds and most likely going to be a re-tee because he only advanced the disc about 40 feet off the tee, maybe even less than that.
Carry.
This looks really, really good.
Carry.
Oh, just crawling over that line, and that was almost a disaster.
See if he can correct that mistake, get it a little
He slipped
flatter.
twice. Oh, you flip too? Okay.
And that one
good to know.
flips
Let's
as
try
well.
again.
Oh,
What else we got
no.
You won't flip.
Chris.
Oh, he needs to slow down.
That one he didn't. Pitiful. Oh, freaking pitiful.
And that has gone out of bounds.
Body.
Chris, we don't even need to say anything. If you see Chris not do his routine, that says more than we could ever. An absolute nightmare for a player who's played so well all round. No bogeys. And now a huge number coming up on 18.
And he's still playing really aggressive. I mean, he hit. Oh gosh, this needs to. Oh, that gets back inbounds. If that were to have hit that and stayed out of bounds, which it very well could have done, you're looking at double digits.
Oh,
Hate to see that.
and damn, with a beautiful angle there to get underneath that tree. That right side of the fairway is so tough to make the decision. Do you go down that low ceiling tunnel or out and around? And the out and around has a very low ceiling as well. It's really no good options from that right side.
But he just really kind of does what he's
Yeah,
been doing the whole day and just
playing to a spot.
playing to a good spot where he's going to be able to. There's a no doubt. I promise you, he will not be running that putt.
Yep, exactly. You might even throw a side arm from 60 feet just to the pin. Conrad with a good approach. It'll be a long putt for birdie left. I mean, for par, excuse me. He's out of bounds.
Nope. Green and blue. Could have gotten like 10 feet of skip. Just a little bit. Would have been happy with 10 feet of skip.
This green, not very forgiving on the skip side. Unless you don't want it to skip. In that case, it skips a lot.
What a round from Dan.
Yeah,
one bogey.
Mm-hmm. It only shoots 3 under par, but that he didn't have a chance to shoot.
Oh, what a run.
Yeah, it was never really in danger of shooting anything much worse than that. Just really played within his game.
And Dickerson needs to make this. Must make.
Good putt.
Wow. A quadruple bogey 8 save from just inside 50 feet.
Things could have gone wrong on that putt.
Mm-hmm.
You can hit easily, roll anywhere. I mean, just shows you how it's impressive to see him make that putt.
Sure. And of course, McBeth gets aggressive, but man, he's going to have to pay the price at the cost of
Headwind, dude.
putt from the same distance.
And that was really to be right in the mix for top 4.
And that one drops, so McBeth is going to 3-putt on the final hole. We had seen no bogeys in the back 9 coming into 18 for our feature group, for our lead group. And just like that, it all changes. James bogey, Paul bogey, Chris quadruple, and slow and steady wins the race sometimes. And DBW, only par on the card, 3 under par for him. We've got James Conrad leading the way from this group, at least, at 16 under par. But there was some action from other cards, as there always is. It's Kevin Jones with a blazing hot 10 under par, jumps up to first place, and James is now in a tie with Eagle McMahon for second, and Calvin Heimberg is going to round out our lead card. Should be an exciting third round. What are your takes from round 2?
A lot of familiar faces on that leaderboard. The one thing that I took from that round was any hole on Fox Run can make or break you. We saw that with hole 18, and we saw that pars are very valuable on that course.
Yeah.
Brewster's a whole nother story. I feel like you got to get those birdies, so I'm looking forward to the next 2 rounds.
Should be an exciting second half of the event from the 2020 Green Mountain Championship. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.